How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and today we're going to be talking about SOS, and we're also going to be talking about EBON. I also want to give you guys a heads up. In all my videos, I have timestamps. So if I cover more than one stock, but you're only interested in one, then you know that you could go down to the description and get the information that you need that pertains to you. So now that we got that out of the way, I also want to put in the disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor, and this isn't financial advice. So just make sure when you do invest, you're doing it at your own risk. In regards to EBON, yes, we ended up getting the letter that they promised since last week, and it actually did a great job addressing all of the claims made from Hindenburg. We're going to be covering that in this video. I won't read the entire letter, but just focus on the points that we wanted to hear. I'm also going to be having a link to that article, sorry, not the article, but the official press release from their website. There's going to be a link in the description for you guys. The next thing that we're going to be talking about is the market manipulation going on with SOS. One of the short seller companies in regards to Culper Research, they're coming out and they dropped something on Twitter around the 2 o'clock hour. I'm going to put that up on the screen right now. And it is just bogus. They blocked out so many things in regards to dates. They even put the full piece of that filing and so forth. So again, they're trying to stoop low and do a lot of shady tactics. Unfortunately, a lot of people ended up panic selling when this happened, which ended up driving the price down. But again, this ended up being an opportunity for the people who actually believe in SOS, and it actually did a great job actually bouncing back. But what we're going to be doing in this video, we're going to be doing a technical analysis for both of these stocks, and then we're going to be going over the information for EBON. And in regards to SOS, we're going to be taking a look at the short volume ratio and also an update on institutional ownership. Like I said, all my videos are value packed. So let's get into those videos and I'll give you guys my final thoughts. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for SOS. So what you see in front of you, we have the 5-day, 5-minute chart. But what we want to take a look at is the actual performance on the day. So we ended up closing the day at $4.80, being down 4.38%. On the low, it hit $4.64, as you can see over here, and ended up seeing a high of $5.17, which ended up being the high in the early parts of the trading session. So one thing we want to be aware of, what was the area of support that we ended up seeing for a good portion of the day? And we could definitely see we had an area of support right here at this $4.91 level. So that's an area to definitely keep an eye on. But then after a hit piece came out, and this was out on Twitter, Culper Research, saying that they exposed SOS in regards to a SEC investigation, which literally ended up tanking the stock price down to where we see this low of $4.64. Then when people realized the nonsense that it was, ended up having a strong recovery and getting to $4.80 at the close. I definitely do see SOS getting back to that $5 range tomorrow. As we could see, if we take a look at this chart, it was looking very good, and there was no doubt in my mind it could have finished in that $5 range. But again, it's because that's why they put that information out there. It is not good for them. It is expensive to continuously short SOS. So now, one thing we want to look out for, we definitely, since we know we have some resistance here at $5.10, what happens if we pass this particular area? If we're able to pass this particular area, you can see we could definitely make a move up here where we've shown to have some support in the past, right here at this $5.20 level, and then end up making a move and moving up to 530, reclaiming 540. So the upside is definitely looking really good for SOS. Now, if we take a look at the indicators right now on this 5-day, 5-minute chart, you can see right here, this was a buying opportunity when it hit 465 because it went right below 30. And as we know, if you can get it under 30 on the RSI, you're getting quite the deal. So this was an opportunity I know many people had the opportunity to add. And by doing that, that's part of the reason why the stock price ended up seeing some momentum going into the close. So what we want to do is take a look at the 1-month chart. So despite the fact that that news came out, it didn't end up breaking that support that has been shown here right at this 465. We've seen this is also held up in the past as well. So it definitely could have tested this area down here at 445, or even testing down the low over here of 428, but it didn't. So that actually shows that we definitely have some support, and there's a lot more buying and a lot more people who are interested. The volume, the demand is there for SOS. So that's one thing to be aware of. The stock Ended up having a strong sell-off, but it didn't end up challenging previous lows that we've seen before. So definitely something to take into consideration. I definitely like what it's looking like for SOS, and I do see it reclaiming back to the 200-day and the 100-day sometime this week. You have that correct. I want to see us get back into that 550 area before the end of the week. We already know Bitcoin is doing extremely well, and it's just a lot of market manipulation on this one. So I just wanted to update you guys so you're in the know and you know what's going on. So we're now on fintel.io for SOS. So we're going to be taking a look at the institutional ownership and as well as the short interest. So as we scroll down on the page, we could definitely see that institutions as of late have been showing some interest in SOS stock. So I'm going to be taking a look actually going back in regards to March. So if we look at March 1st and going forward, there's definitely some interest showing up from institutions here. We could also see that Morgan Stanley has a position in SOS as well. So I just want to make sure you guys are aware of what's going on. And yes, there are institutions that are backing SOS, which is good to see. So now we're on the short interest page, and the short volume ratio is at 22%. As far as short shares availability, it is at 150,000 shares. So that's good to see. We also see the short vol free rate is at 13.70%. So it's getting way more expensive to actually short SOS stock, which is great in regards to seeing that short squeeze, which we're looking forward to. And we take a look at the history on the short volume ratio, this being most recent from April the 12th, we have 22. In this whole particular time period, the highest it's been was on April the 7th when it was at 28.87. So we could definitely see some downward trends in regards to the short volume ratio. But at the same time, the fact that that squeeze potential is still there is something that we look forward to seeing. So we're going to be doing a technical analysis for EBON International, ticker symbol EBON. So let's take a look at the overall performance on the day. So we ended up closing today at $5.07, being up 6.29%. Ended up seeing a low of $4.65 and also seeing a high of $5.24. So when we end up seeing this high, we could definitely see right here, we have a resistance area right here at $5.20. So if we're able to actually get past this, then we can make that move and reclaim this area of 530. Once we pass 530, can look forward to 540 and then definitely an easy move to 550. So that's something that I want to see actually as this week progresses. Another thing to take a look at are some areas of support. So we definitely see we have some support here right at this $5 range. Keep in mind, EBON made a very strong recovery. Ended up seeing a low over here at $4 and around 40 cents. And the fact that it's recovered since the letter came out today, that was definitely good and what shareholders really wanted to hear and we're looking forward to. And that's part of the reasons why we end up having a strong move on the day for EBON. And the reason why we also got to take this into consideration, on the 5-day, 5-minute, we are above the 200-day and we're also above the 100-day. And right where we have the 21-day EMA right here, it's around $5.08. And the fact that we closed at $5.07, hey, this shows that as long as we can make that move, looking bullish, reclaim back 520 tomorrow, things are looking good for the overall trend on the 5-day. If we take a look at the 1-month chart now, so for the 1-month chart, we could definitely see we have an absolute area of support here right at $4.50. Let's just call that $4.50. So with this area of support, we want to make sure this holds, and we also want to make sure it holds that area of support at $5. So on the 1 month, what I want to see is us coming back to reclaiming the 100-day and as well as the 200-day. This is definitely possible this is all dependent on the fact of volume and demand. And this is what I always want to remind you guys of. So if it ends up claiming these particular areas, like I said, you can see right there on the 200-day, it's around $6.71. I'm looking forward to seeing this area being reclaimed before the end of the month. That is correct. So once we can reclaim back to this area and start making those moves to the upside where EBON actually belongs. So that's what I'm going to be looking forward to. So EBON just needs to make sure it holds down 5, start getting above $5.10. Reclaim for now, just as far as immediate expectations, get back to $5.51, and then we'll go further from there. So we're on the official website for EBON International. So this is just the news that came out today. So EBON International issues open letter to shareholders. This is quite a bit of information, but what I'm going to do for you guys, I'm going to make sure there's a link in the description so you can also check this out for yourself. But I'm just going to go over and highlight what we actually want to look forward to and why we were anticipating the release of this letter. So originally, it was not my intention to respond to this article that appeared on the Hindenburg website on April 6, 2021. However, I understand the concerns expressed by shareholders eager to get some validation from our business plan and understanding of our position on these matters. Thus, to that end, please see the following responses. So, like we were saying before, this is their response to Hindenburg, and I like how they addressed all the points. We're going to go over what those points actually were, but like I said, I won't be taking up too much of your time trying to read all of it out to you. So the first point that Hindenburg brought up, we did not direct our proceeds from IPO or any other company funds through a series of OPEC deals with insiders and questionable counterparties. So Hindenburg accused them of, saying, well, you know what? You're using the proceeds, your funds, into other things outside of the business. The CEO addresses that very quickly here in this paragraph. Number 2, we are not related to Yingdao or any of Yingdao's schemes alleged in the Hindenburg report. So they go ahead and then they address this, and then they go over talking about the issues with the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. So being aware and knowing this was great, and it also instilled confidence for a lot of shareholders. We remain committed to the designing and manufacturing of our Bitcoin mining machines. So they're further improving and showing their legitimacy in regards to their mining operations, which Hindenburg was questioning. We go to number 4. We developed and own our software and technologies for a cryptocurrency exchange. So what Hindenburg was saying, how they were using some other type of software, something that came from a shady company. And they're kind of addressing and saying, well, no, that is not the case. And then for number 5, we did not artificially inflate the trading volume on EBON. So what this means was Hindenburg went and said, well, you know what? How are they trading with so much volume? How are people trading this much crypto on this exchange that just came out? This is whack disinformation. This is bad information. They are lying. And they automatically address it in this particular paragraph and kind of relating it back, saying, hey, you know what? They're working on fixing some things and there are some software glitches and so forth. Like I said, I'll put a description. You guys can check this out more so in full. But this was definitely something that was great for EBON shareholders. So for my final thoughts for SOS and EBON, things are actually looking really good. We're seeing that SOS has strong support, and I'm loving the price action, especially since it ended up having that minor dip due to some bogus information. It recovered fairly well. I'm looking forward to see what happens tomorrow. This is also to realize and take into consideration that these particular institutions, Hindenburg, Culper, they're doing everything they can to drive the price down, and I hope you guys are aware and you are seeing this. Anyone who ended up panic selling, hey, that is fine. It is your money, but I do see some more moves and upside for SOS, especially since what's going down and the type of levels that they have to stoop so low to actually get this stock price to go down or actually work in their favor. Keep in mind, they make money when the stock price goes down, so always remember that. And also, when you sell your shares, so know that. If you're holding it, great. If you are not holding it, or maybe you might have some weak hands, or maybe you don't believe in this stock, hey, that's fine, but I'm just telling you, this stock you already know comes with volatility. Now, in regards to EBON, this is exactly what we wanted to see, and we see that reflected in the stock price today. So what I'm looking forward to, and I actually saw it in after hours before recording this video, it was doing a great job holding down that 520. I think it got to around 525 and so forth. So I'm like, this is looking really good, and it's looking real good for tomorrow. Also, to kind of cover, we already saw that Bitcoin is doing very, very well. You'll see that up on the screen. Bitcoin is literally chilling around that 62, 63 area. And hey, this is what we've been talking about for the longest time. Now we want to see Bitcoin get to 70K and continue to move upwards. As it has this momentum and it's gaining all of this steam, this will be reflected in a lot of stocks. We saw also today as well, Mara didn't really perform as well as Riot did. So this is another thing that also keep an eye on, and keep these stocks on your watch list so you know what kind of an effect they're having on what you are holding. Especially with the Chinese companies, and as well as the American companies and the Canadian companies like Hive and Hut that we've covered on this channel. So that's what I want you guys to be aware of. Yes, I still have my SOS options and I still have my SOS shares, and I still do believe that there's more upside for both SOS and EBON, especially with the momentum that we're seeing in Bitcoin and a lot of investors getting a lot more confidence, seeing, hey, here what's going down in the market is definitely heavily manipulated, and we need to understand that, be aware from that, learn from that, and use that as an opportunity to make some money. We'll talk soon. Peace.